her versions of the existing.
Good to go. Good evening. It is Monday, April 14th, and it is a regular council meeting of the Beach Haven Borough Council. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mrs. Baumiller?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building, on the borough website, and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mrs. Baumiller?
Here.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Here.
Ms. Snyder?
Here.
Mayor Lambert?
Here.
We're going to start the agenda tonight with Resolution 113, 2025, approving the promotion of Lieutenant Lisa Fay to the position of captain in the Beach Haven Police Department and acknowledging the execution of an employment contract.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
I'll
I'll
second it.
second.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
So at this time, we'd like to invite Lisa up with her family. Can you move it?
I, Lisa Fay, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same to the governments established in the United States and in this state with the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of captain of the Beach Haven Police Department, according to the best of my ability, so help me.
Yeah.
Can I ask for a motion to recess?
Motion to recess.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, we are reconvening the public meeting. It is 6:10 p.m. Sorry. Finance report. Wait. I have to skip the finance report. Don't have it in my pile here. I have minutes. If you don't mind. I have minutes for approval without formal reading, the March 10th regular meeting and the March 13th budget workshop.
Everybody have a chance to review them? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the March 10th and March 13th minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Ordinance 2025-6C, an ordinance amending Chapter 212 zoning definitions of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to amend the definition of accessory buildings or structures, residential, and retaining walls. Final reading.
Since it is the final reading, it's open for public comment. Anybody out in the audience here wish to make a comment? No, seeing none. Anybody on Zoom? Would we,
No one has a hand up.
okay. Anybody on the council like to make a comment?
No, this is the 17th time.
I know. Okay. so-
We got it right this
You
time.
tired of writing it?
Is there a motion to approve 2025-6C?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey.
Yes.
Ms. Snyder.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-7C, an ordinance amending Chapter 57 Beach Protection, Article 1, Protection of Beaches and Dunes of for the Borough, in the Borough Code, the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to require all parts of a private dune walkover to be removed in the off-season and planting native vegetation on the west side of the dune as a condition of continued use. First reading.
As it is a first reading, there's no public comment, but would anybody on the council like to comment?
I read it, I'm good.
And I think we've kicked this one around a lot too.
Yeah, I like to say, I think it's time. I think we've talked about this for years. And some of us have thought we should do away with it altogether. And then we thought that didn't seem fair. So we've come, I think that those people that have a valid permit and who do a good job planting their dune and maintaining their dune and rolling up the dune walkovers when, within the timeline of the permit, deserve to be rewarded. And that was what we were doing. We're not punishing anyone by not allowing it, but it's important for us, in my opinion, to cherish our dunes and respect our dunes. And this is a reflection of that.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I just have one question on the condition of approval where it says that permit applications will only be accepted if the property has previously been granted a walkover permit from the Borough of Beach Haven between the years 2018 and 2024. Does that mean they can skip years and then come back and then tear off all the vegetation and then put another one up? There's nothing in there that it has to be consecutive.
Yeah, I think it should be, yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Say that one more time.
So the way that it's written now, the way that the condition of approval is written is that you just have to have had one in the past from 2018 to 2024. It says nothing about consecutive. So what if, the dunes,
So we've identified all of these folks and have a spreadsheet, and that's the spreadsheet that you've all seen. So there's no one hiding in the wings that had one in 18 that didn't reapply. Like,
right? But what if they don't have one for 2 years and then decide to have one? And since they already had one, I feel like
They
there
had
has
one
to
in
be
2019.
I
So
feel
what
like there's
happened?
something.
that, they're on the spreadsheet then. If we have record of them, they're on our list of dune
Right,
walkovers.
but I
They
feel
haven't
like-
fallen off the list.
I feel like it should be consecutive or they lose that privilege.
Okay,
That's the only modification that I see. So if they don't decide to have one next year, but then they want one the following year, that can't happen. It has to be consecutively, like you use it or you lose it.
okay.
But what if there's a storm and they're not gonna use the rollout during April and November because there's too much dune damage anyway, and then, a lot of people wouldn't have them consecutively that year.
You can still get the permit.
In 2024, we didn't issue permits because of beach replenishment.
No, if you don't have it for that year, you only have it between a certain months. And if you don't apply for it and you don't utilize it and use it, then you lose it.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
don't know if I do that.
So as soon as you stop using it, it's done.
Yes.
Perfect.
What about Mrs. Smith who's sick one summer and can't, doesn't get it together to,
Mr. Smith can get it together.
I think it's not discriminatory, but,
Mhm.
and we're not issuing new ones going forward?
Correct. If they haven't had one previously, there are no opportunities for new. I hate to call it grandfathering because that's a zoning term, but that is the way that it's written now, that if you haven't had one previously, there's no option to make application.
When Mr. Smith not sells his oceanfront, the permit is granted to the next new owner because it goes with the property?
I know we've talked about it. Our attorney did not feel that that was appropriate, that it follow the property owner. But it's not specifically written in this ordinance, and that's not something that we're looking to do right now. Let's just implement it the way it is right now, the way it's written with the word consecutively added. Thank you. I
Anybody else?
intend
I agree with
to, and a couple things, this ordinance is what we call fast tracked. It will have its final adoption and public hearing at the end of the month. It won't be moved to the May meeting. We are legally allowed to do that. We counted to make sure we're legal, just so that we get this effective as quickly as possible. We already have
Right,
folks
exactly.
asking for the permit. So as soon as we hit our adoption date, we're going to proactively send letters to those on the list to make sure they're aware of the new regulations, they're aware of the application, the new fee, and the process. And if we'd like, we can do that every year to make sure that Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith, if someone's not well, they know that if they fail to do the permit, that
They could be in Australia watching their grandkids. I don't know. It could be anywhere in today's.
Well, I mean, they know they have an oceanfront, they know they want the dune walkover, they know they have.
They're not gonna use the house. That's
Well, then,
great.
I don't know, I disagree, then it's on them to know that they need to get a permit or someone, and if it's on them, just like everybody else, yeah. I mean, for other things, I don't know, to pay your taxes, you have to pay your,
Just saying.
so if you are looking to introduce it with the minor revision of the word consecutively, is that what you're looking to do? Then make your motion clear.
Okay, is there a motion to approve 2025-7C with the addition of the word consecutive?
Okay,
so moved. Second,
and that was Kitty. Okay.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, Miss Anderson, you're a no?
No.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
Ah. Gosh, I'm losing it. Ordinance 2025-8C, an ordinance amending chapter 95, fire protection. Article 11A, Knox boxes. In the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to clarify when a Knox box is required for commercial and non-residential properties. First reading.
Again, this is one we've kicked around for quite a while, and we had our chief come in and explain it to us, the fire department. It's pretty cut and dry. Anybody in the council want to discuss this at all?
Good.
No? If that's the case, is there a motion to approve 2025-8C?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-9C, an ordinance amending Chapter 74, Construction Codes Uniform, of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to create an exemption for bulkhead height for marinas located in the MC zone. First reading.
Okay, again, first reading, no public comment. We had a marina owner up here last week, or last meeting, explaining the importance of this one. Anybody on the council wish to address it? No?
No, I was glad to
Okay.
hear from Mr. Allen, he shed some light on this, and I went down and looked at it a little just today, actually, and just to see, and it can understand it. and
I can't really hear you.
I have no problem with it. yeah.
Okay.
Right, I
Sorry.
feel like anything that we can do with Marina is doing, a small repair on a bulkhead and the 90% of his bulkhead is at 4 feet. You're not gonna do 10%, 5 feet, and you're not gonna replace the whole bulkhead. That expense would be
Yeah,
astronomical for a marina. So if we can do anything to help them, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, as I said last time, I feel we've lost a lot of our marinas, and anything we can do to help keep them is a plus. So is there a motion to approve 2025-9C?
I'll make the motion.
second,
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes,
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-10C, an ordinance amending Chapter 145 pickleball courts municipal in the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey to limit the sale of daily passes to the hours of 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. daily. First reading.
Again, anybody on the council want to discuss this one?
No.
No. This one was actually brought to our attention by members of the pickleball community and the
Shocking.
neighbors. No, I mean, but it was actually a little bit anti what they would normally do, but they did feel it made playing easier. The neighbors were much happier. And as far as we can see, it's a win-win.
As long as they're happy, I'm happy.
As long
There's
as
a note
it's,
of sarcasm in your voice.
as long as they solve the jam up problem, I'm good with it.
Okay, anybody else? No, is there a motion to approve 2025-10C?
I'll make a motion to support.
Second,
Ms. Anderson,
yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey,
Yes,
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes,
Colleen, you might want to move it back just a little. Seems really sensitive and you
Yeah, it
have a
is.
very
On budget.
strong voice.
okay.
2025-12, this is a calendar year 2025 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limit and to establish a cap bank. NJSA 40A:4-45.14, first reading.
Okay, first reading, so not open to the public. Anybody up here want to, it's kind of standard procedure, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have nothing.
So, okay, is there a motion to approve 2025-12?
I make a motion to approve 2025-12.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey.
Yes,
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes,
All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure supported by a certification of availability of funds and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 94, returning remaining escrow. 97, returning piling bonds. 109, requesting permission for a dedication by rider for the Borough of Beach Haven Open Space Trust Fund required by NJSA 40:12-15.2. 110, authorizing execution of an agreement with Dynamic Testing Services for the provision of drug and alcohol testing. 111, authorizing the lease of borough-owned property not needed for public use in an online auction pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-14. 112, consenting to the issuance of amusement licenses for Wainwright Amusements LLC for the 2020-25 amusement games. 114, approving change order number 1 dated April 3rd, 2025 for the 2023 road improvement project, 5th Street, from Bay Avenue to Oceanfront and Borough Utility Replacement Project. Resolution 115 is allowing the budget to be read by title only. 116, proclaiming the month of May as Older Americans Month. And 117, proclaiming the National Service Recognition Day and National Volunteer Week. 118, self-examination of our budget resolution as required by DCA. 119, renewing a contract with Delta Dental for 24 months at a 5% rate reduction. 121, authorizing the execution of a contract addendum number 2 to the service agreement with USG Water Solutions for a full-service maintenance and asset management program for our water storage vessels. 122 is authorizing to advertise for bids for the 2025 handicap access ramp at the library. And 123 is also authorizing to advertise for bids for the 2025 HVAC upgrades at the library. 124, authorizing the execution of our Schedule C agreement with Ocean County. 125 is form of emergency temporary appropriations resolution prior to the adoption of the budget, NJSA 40A:4-20.
okay, lengthy list. Is there anything that anybody would like to have removed for discussion? No?
No.
Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the resolutions within the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Who made my second? Kitty?
Mike made the motion, Kitty second.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes,
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes,
So she did, Councilwoman Anderson just had a question. So, the temporary here is adding additional money to our temporary budget that will still be in place and that we're operating out of until our formal budget is adopted. So this one, every year we are capped, our appropriations cap, municipal budget appropriations limit is 2%. If we adopt this ordinance, it will allow us to increase our cap to 3.5%, and share, the calculation is in the ordinance. And it allows us to exceed the cap by 1%. And then whatever we don't spend, we bank it for a future year. And those banks have saved us over the past couple of years when we were unable to stay below our appropriations cap because of expenses we can't control. We can tap the banks that we've held on to from previous years to meet that cap. So they're critical that we allow ourselves, even if we're not planning on using it, to allow it to be and to bank it for a future year.
It's a safety net that all municipalities do.
Make sense?
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
All
All right.
Good, better to know.
I have a bill list tonight in the amount of $2,120,939.04.
everybody get a chance to review the bills?
Mhm.
yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion. Pay the bills.
I'll second.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes,
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes,
Okay, at this time, we're going to talk quickly about the budget. Oh, yeah, I guess I should do that too. Let me go back and do the finance report. Sorry, we'll do all finance at once. Cash receipts in the current fund account for the period of March 1st to March 31st, 2025 were $625,708.75. Cash disbursements in the current fund account for the month of March totaled $192,550.56. Cash receipts in the water utility account for the period of March 1st to March 31st were $101,019.35. Cash disbursements in the water utility account for the month of March totaled $62,656.98. Cash receipts in the sewer utility account for this period were $87,359.81, while the cash disbursements in the sewer utility account for the month of March 2025 totaled $102,283.41, submitted by our treasurer, Shari Bowler. Tonight is hopefully introduction of our municipal budget. We spent quite a bit of time going through every line item in our operating and salary and wage sheets. Right now, our total appropriation, including our reserves, is $16,208,149.62. This is a 5% increase overall of last year. We did see significant changes in our insurances. Liability increased 22.22%, while our group health insurance also increased 17.36%. Although we had these significant increases, we were able to dial in our budgets. Our operating expenses only increased 5.18%, while our salary and wage increased 4.68%. So after our meeting with our CFO, we're happy to announce that we will not see a tax increase this year over our prior year. We're going to hold our tax rate steady at 0.413. In order to balance the budget, we're using $691,000 more in surplus than our prior year baseline to fund the budget. And 27% of our budget at this point is being funded by surplus. In the water utility, we have an increase overall of $68,817.43, making the total appropriations in the water utility budget $2,021,317.43. And the main driver of this increase is debt service. We are undertaking quite a bit of water main replacements. We have a 25-year plan that will probably be a 35-year plan, but to eventually replace all the water mains in the borough. It needs to be done, yeah. The sewer utility appropriations, $1,725,000, an increase of $120,000 overall, and also for a debt service that is new to that budget. Do you have any questions about the budget numbers? No. Okay. Okay, the municipal budget of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean for the fiscal year 2025, be it resolved that the following statements of revenues and appropriations shall constitute the municipal budget for the year 2025. Be it further resolved that the budget will be published in the Beach Haven Times in the issue of April 24th, 2025. And the governing body of the Borough of Beach Haven does hereby approve the following as the budget for the year 2025. And I'm going to roll call. Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey.
Yes.
Ms. Snyder,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Notice is hereby given that the budget and tax resolution was approved by the council members of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean on April 14th, 2025. A hearing on the budget and the tax resolution will be held at the Borough of Beach Haven on May 12th, 2025 at 6 o'clock, at which time and place objections to said budget and tax resolution for the year 2025 may be presented by the taxpayers or other interested persons. Congratulations, the budget is introduced. Under general discussion, we had one item to discuss a proposed ordinance numbered 2025-13C regarding the Historic Preservation Advisory Commission.
This one, it's just a little bit of a matter. We're going to ask Mrs. Snyder, our resident HPAC expert, to just clarify. It's not a big deal, but
Yeah, no,
she just
it's not.
shed some.
And I know as soon as someone sees anything, they think it's going to be more of a burden for them and more being told what to do. But as our ordinance is written now, well, let me just back up a little bit. In 2018, the New Jersey Registration to Historic Places adopted several changes to the Uniform Construction Code. Now in New Jersey, you don't need a building permit for what they refer to as general maintenance, which includes a roofing, siding, and replacement windows. How to explain this? So if a local historic preservation ordinance, which we have, states that these types of work require historic HPAC review by a local HPAC, which it does, it requires review regardless of other permitting requirements. That means it's not a full application, it's a phone call, and we just want to make sure with the building department, it's harder for them, and this just is a law and it is a rule, and we already have the ordinance. We just want to make sure, like we're trying to do with all of our ordinance, to button them up to make sure that they are easier to read and more understandable for homeowners. So if you want to replace your roof and your siding, you will not have to go to a full meeting. You probably won't have to go to a full meeting. Let me say that. You will just fill out the 2-page application, which simply is going to be, what are your building materials, so that we can put it in the file. It can be over a phone call. We could do a tech review. If you want to use something that we don't approve of, and this has to be done anyway, when you go to the building department, now people always do, and they say, do I need a building permit? Do I need permission for this? And Vive always says, give Kitty or someone on HPAC a call just to make sure that your building materials are within the design guidelines. This ordinance, if this addition to the ordinance doesn't change that. We already have it. This just makes it more understandable for people to see what's happening in terms, it's not going to change what you have to do today or after it's passed. It will remain the same. It will not mean that you have to fill out the full application with streetscape photos or any of that. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need an architect. None of that. It's really simple. It's just so that we have, we can make the public aware that they do need to use materials that are acceptable within our design guidelines. We have a house right now, and it's an important house. It's contributing. It's right on the park on Ingleside. They did not get permission for their windows or their siding. Turns out the windows are gorgeous and they would have been approved anyway, and the siding most likely would have been approved. But that's important, you know, it's one of our most important, it's a very important home in the historic district. So we just want to make sure we have a bit of a paper trail and that we're following the law. And this is the law as it stands. We just want to make it a little more clear. That's it.
Kitty, how does HVAC enforce things like that?
It's hard because you
Besides
kind of
just
have to
walking
drive around and call
right.
Pat O'Donnell and say, could you please check on that to make sure this, like with this house, for
Mhm.
example, and it's talk about that. You know, it was a mistake that was made. It's good, it's fine because they are using materials that we would have most likely approved.
Right, but clearly everyone.
But it's
that-
hard because they don't
everyone
need,
that's in the historic district knows that they're in the historic
Right.
district, even when things are passed from like families and stuff.
yeah.
Is there a way that they know or
Well,
they can be like
Within this, you'll
informed?
see that there's I wanted, other towns, Haddonfield, Morristown, they send letters to homeowners, in different ways, right?
Mhm.
And so I wanted to make sure, have, our attorney, Bruce Padula, draft a letter so we can send it out and Mary Claire could speak to how we can send it out. We can stuff mailboxes. We'll hang it in the building department. We'll hang it, you know, in the post office. We'll send it out so that people understand. No big deal, but here's how it works. You don't need a building permit per se, but you still do need HVAC approval.
We put that
Because
in our
you
ballot,
you
actually.
always need a certificate of appropriateness, whether or, you know, and the building department wasn't aware of it. I went to a seminar recently and there was an attorney there, Janine Bauer, who is an expert in the state on historic preservation law. And she brought it to our attention. Cape May's aware of it, many other towns that have historic districts. So it's a good, it's protection for the homeowners and the historic district. But it's not stringent and it's not an additional burden. It's already supposed to be being done this way. But sometimes they're not going to get it. And then we just say, hey, what's going on? What are you using? And here's a
Right.
piece of paper. Can you just fill it out and bring it to the building department? That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Thank you, Mrs. Snyder. That, I think, cleared everything up.
Kitty, did you want to wait to introduce this, or are
Or do you
you
wanna do it
looking to
tonight?
have an introduction done today, since it is a written document and
I mean, it's up to you. I'd love to have it introduced if we can do that.
it's
I
up
wasn't
to the
sure.
board. If you want to
Mhm.
go ahead and present it, you can.
Well, I mean, anybody would have a couple meetings
Yeah,
to speak up.
Absolutely. And if anyone's on Zoom or listening, I mean, call me. I mean, I'll answer any questions I can.
Do you want me to read it by titles?
You know, sometimes when we're doing a general discussion, we do let the audience, if they have a.
Yeah,
So this might be a good time to see if there is anything that anybody would like to address as far as this ordinance.
that's a great idea.
No? How about on Zoom? Anybody have anything to say about this particular ordinance? Historic preservation? No? Okay, great. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Ordinance 2025-13C, an ordinance amending section 41-6 of the Code of the Borough of Beach Haven to clarify construction activity that requires a certificate of appropriateness, notwithstanding such activity may not require construction permit. First reading.
Okay, I think we've already discussed it. Is there a motion to approve 2025-13C?
Well, I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller?
Yes,
Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes,
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes.
That's all I have for today.
Okay, we've reached the public comment portion of the meeting. And if you'd like to speak, please raise your hand when you come up, ID yourself, and please hold it to 3 minutes. Oh, okay.
Gina Lockey, 2019 South Bay Avenue. First, I want to say how impressed I am with Public Works. The amount of work that they have done on our beaches is impressive. It's a losing battle, the beach.
Gosh.
And I walked it today. It was really sad,
Yeah,
but
it was.
it's amazing what they've done. That was it on that. The only other thing I wanted to bring up, the beach taxi is a wonderful thing that you're offering people. But I was wondering, I read the do's and the don'ts basically on the website. And it says that you take the people and you must drop them right at the street that you bring them up on, which would be Holyoke or Nelson or something. My thought is though, what do those people, like you're not allowed to take their chairs off the buggy and that, but how is that really helping them? Because then they're have to walk to wherever, carrying a chair or whatever. And I was just wondering if that could be looked at again. I know in the past, they were brought to their family, you know, at their street.
We can answer those questions because
I don't know
we deal with the ins and outs of the operation for a few years now.
They've never really been allowed to bring them to their family. The rule has always been the same. So if they have been, that's been kind of breaking the rules. Based on conversations with our beach patrol chief, it's really not safe for the taxi to be driving north and south on the beach with the passengers through crowded beach, through crowded beaches. So in the past couple of years, we've had, only certain beach entrances that are available for the taxi to access. So those were the beaches that we've been using. They don't just deposit them right at the bottom of the ramp. They'll drive them onto the beach at that beach entrance. And, they're not supposed to be lifting and helping because it's really not a good thing for our people to be moving other people's equipment for liability reasons. So people should be bringing a companion that can help them lift their things in and out, but we don't just deposit them at the end of the ramp. We'll take them to their spot as close to the ramp as possible, allowing for other people to come on and off. And those rules were kind of put in place for the safety of the other beachgoers and our taxi drivers. There's a whole lot of reasons why those kinds of things are happening. This year might be a different story as far as how many entrances we can use. Like you said, our DPW guys have been doing a lot of work to kind of increase the width of some of our beach entrances. So that's a discussion that still needs to happen with our DPW superintendent to see, what changes can be made with that. But really, that's kind of how it's had to be implemented in the last couple of years.
Because like I'm on Kentford, not that I use it, I don't need to use it, but I'm on Kentford and the closest one is Nelson. So if my family is on Kentford and somebody gets driven to Nelson, how do we get them?
The family comes to Nelson.
Here's,
The family,
Then we have a parking problem.
or they can bike, or there's other ways.
Maybe I could help clear this up. Me and the chief have gone to all the beach entrances, and I think there was only, about 5 or 6 where they couldn't get down? So they're widening all the beach
Oh, so
entrances.
they'll be allowed.
The
to-
reason why they're not going all the way on the beach is because if they go all the way on the beach and drop the people off, then they go back to pick them up, they can't get to them because of the crowds. So that's why they were sort of leaving them at the beach entrances, but they'll be able to go within 1 block either way.
Oh, okay.
I think we checked all the entrances and within 1 block of where, if this is blocked off, they can't get to it. They could either get to it from the next street north or the next street south.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Last summer, the beaches were so small that
Yeah.
we had an instance where the taxi came over the walkway and couldn't turn around. No, because people were there. You couldn't, you had to drop them off and back up over the walkway because there was no place to turn it around or anything. It's very dangerous when the beaches are that crowded.
Thank you.
you.
We're waiting.
Kathy King, 326 Third Street. And I just thought I'd preface what I'm going to talk about by saying that my family came here in 1910. It's been here over 100 years, and there's still members of my family like me who live here. I have a vested interest in this town, and I'm very concerned. So what I wanted to bring up is that I'm concerned about 210 North Bay Avenue, what we used to call Cossifs, and behind it was Cramer's Florist. I live on that street and I observe it, and I've learned a lot about it. I've spoken to the DEP, to Rosario Construction, who's the LSRP. I've talked to them many times. I've had my questions answered. I've learned a lot. But now we are at a very important part. Originally, there were 8 buried tanks on that property. Within the last year, 4 of them have been removed by de Blasio Construction. There are questions about how that was done. There's no doubt about that. And keeping that in mind, we're at a critical point because they just brought the exact same company's heavy equipment and parked it on the property to go to work on the last 4 tanks that are buried up there. Now, I spoke to the representative I know from Rosario Construction 2 weeks ago with the guy from the DEP, and they admitted they did find benzene on that property. So my concerns are validated. So they're going to start again on the other 4. And I think what the problem is 2 to 3 foot down there is where the water table is. That's just the way it is in that part of town. I went and talked to the bulkheading company who put in the pilings for the 2 houses that they let build there, and they validated it was 2 to 3 feet. So that means that if there's contamination, it can move sideways. It isn't like the mainland where it goes straight down. We have a different situation. I've talked to attorneys. This is something that people who do real estate law know about. There's ways that they have to research to see if there's underground streams. I don't know if there is in that property, but DEP should know this stuff. I'm concerned that we're starting a new part of it. There's a lot of kind of shady parts of the first part that's done. And all I want to say is, me personally, I'm going to watch them. They know me. They're going to see me watching them. And I'm asking for other people in town, get a cup of coffee and go down there and see what's going on. They don't know what's in those tanks. They don't know whether there's still liquid in them or whether it's leaked out into the ground. But this is a serious business. This is a health risk. It is a health risk. And we can't just, I don't believe we can just turn it over to the DEP. I think it's Beach Haven. We need to pay attention to it ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
I know, Kathy, as you know, I did go down and I did speak with them, and they were doing the ground probes. So when I came to the building department, Sherry, you were with me, and they said, and this was about maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago at this point, they did say they were aware of it and that, they were trying to stay on top of it. I don't know at this point what else needs to be done, but
Until it's cleared by an LSRP, nothing can be done on those parcels.
okay. Anybody else in the room care to speak? No?
When is, how's progress going down there? What's the timeline?
Well, right now with the remediation, pardon?
Just test and come back and test or? are they
Oh, yeah,
busy?
yeah. I mean, it's a long process. Look
It's a
at Beach Haven
full-
Auto. It goes on for a long
A
time.
long time.
So, yeah, there's not going to be any.
And they're removing
immediate-
the tanks this coming spring.
Is there anybody on Zoom who would like to comment?
Don't see anyone.
Okay, seeing none, we'll close the floor to public comment. And we will go to final remarks by council, and looks like Mrs. Baumiller, you get to start us off tonight.
Oh, wow. I don't have much to say. It was nice to see everyone here for our new captain, Lisa Fay. It's a well-deserved. I look forward to working more with her. I was just telling Lori, sorry, Larry. It's been a long day. That, 20 years ago when Lisa and I were at the Bagel Shack, she's making coffee. I'm starting out my teaching career. Who would have known that 20
Yeah.
years later, I would be sitting on council and she would be accepting the role as captain for the Beach Haven Police Department. So it's just, God, time's a thief, but I wish her all the luck. And for everyone else in town, the kids are off next week in town, so be wary of them. Once the temperatures creep up a little higher, they get a little crazy. So please watch out for them. And I hope everyone enjoys their spring break and whatever religious holiday that you are with your families and friends. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. McCaffrey?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Judge Jim Daniel for his retirement. When I was with the police department, he was our prosecutor, and later on, he was one of the commissioners. So congratulations.
Congrats.
The other thing, I would want to wish everybody a happy Easter, and everybody please be safe.
Thank you. Mrs. Snyder?
Yes, also congratulations to Lisa. She's a tremendous asset here in Beach Haven, and really wish her all the best. Wish everyone a happy Passover and a happy Easter. Thank you for coming, and enjoy your spring break, Jamie.
Yes, I will.
Ms. Anderson?
I don't have much to say. Thanks for coming. Hope you'll come again. It's nice to see faces in the audience and participation. Happy Easter.
Thank you. Again, congrats to Captain Fay. That was exciting, always nice to see. Last month at the League of Municipalities, they spoke on the homestead, well, now it's called the Anchor Stay New Jersey, and the property tax reimbursement. Apparently, a lot of seniors are having issues with this. And they, well, they said, they would have somebody come down and speak with us if need be. And then the lady said to me afterwards, you've got a great resource in St. Francis Center. So I stopped there, and they are more than happy. In fact, we were going to link our website, but did you ever get any info?
All the information that we have available on the triple program is listed there. Are you looking for a link to St. Francis on
Well,
there?
they said, remember, we were just going to put something on there that they could.
I was able to find all my own information,
Okay.
but I don't have a link to St. Francis Senior Services there. I could do that.
No, that's, yeah. But here's the great thing is that all you have to do is call them, make an appointment, go up, and they will do this with you. Or you can even make an appointment and they will come to your home. So please don't get overwhelmed with
That's
this.
good to know.
Yeah, that's, and they get, a financial benefit because it's a service. So it's a win-win for everybody. And I was going to do this last time, but the meeting ran for 3 hours, so I cut it out quickly. We've always known what a great emergency response team we have here in Beach Haven, how fortunate we really are. And, we say it, but it's hard to really imagine until you're the one that needs it, which happened a few weeks ago. And I wasn't home at the time, and my mother, all the alarms were going off, and she thought she smelled gas, and there were all kinds of things going on. And when I got home, she was out on the porch, and the gas company was on the way, and I called Chief Ellender, and he said, no, you definitely need to call 911 and get everybody here to check the house out. So we did, and it was just amazing. It was funny, a couple of years ago, we had the discussion about the sirens. I know Dan Allen was on there. He goes, everybody complains about them, but when it's your house,
Yeah, exactly.
you want to hear that thing going off, and you do, and they're coming, and they did. And Officer Ellenberger was the first on the scene. He was wonderful. Then Ellenberger, and then Chief Ellender came right away also. And then the fire department, Lieutenants Beal and Wasmer, and the crew was Mr. Bafuma, Mr. Selick. The first aid was Captain Whitcraft and Lieutenant Pasquale. And I said, it's very reassuring. We've known for a long time how wonderful our response team is here in Beach Haven, but thank you all very much. When it's your house, it was great to see everybody and very professional. I truly appreciate it. Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy whatever you're celebrating that month. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Have a great night.
Thank you.